Sorry, I was talking with the microphone turned off. Okay, so I'm running an economic model because I want to create a crypto coin that institutes global communism, not to be confused with global communistism, because a communist is intrinsically not communism. It's a weird, ironic dichotomy. I'll explain. Communism is like the Garden of Eden. There's no rank and everyone gets what they want. Communist is what happens when you try to also have a government for that. And then that becomes socialism, which is very poorly defined and can mean a number of things. So communist countries are not communism. Communism has never actually been tried before, because most people who attempt it become communist, claiming communism but having rulers and bad finances, and then stuff goes to shit. So I'm running an economic simulation. It was made with ChatGPT, so it's probably got flaws. But basically, I have to find progressive tax, and this is like a tuning radio for the different parameters of the progressive tax. Because I was having a friend, interrogate me about my idea, and then they asked a really stupid question that made me really think. They were like, okay, but what if I have all the houses and all the jet skis? Can I rent them out? And I was like, yeah, sure, that's just commerce. And they were like, yeah, but I have all of them, though. And I was like, oh, and you're renting them out for like a high rate and taking people for everything they're worth, and by the time their worth regenerates, you charge them their monthly fee again. And so, because you already have a monopoly when you entered the system, that monopoly stays as a form of monopolistic hysteresis. And that's not good. Hysteresis just means memory, by the way. It's a big word that means systematic memory. Magnets have memory. If you, I forgot. If you magnetize and then demagnetize a bar of iron, it has like a circular curve. It remembers its magnetic history. Like, as you demagnetize it or change its polarity, the strength of the magnet doesn't ever go to zero. It, like, follows this weird, kind of, like, wonky shape. Because it remembers it was already magnetized, and it, like, does stuff on the graph. I don't remember the details, that's why I'm being vague. But basically, hysteresis is just memory that systems have. Another easier example to understand is if you have, like, ground and you pour water on it and make the ground wet, and then you pour water on it again in the same spot. At first, the ground will, like, randomly pick where to spread out, but once it makes, like, a little, like, shape, it's more likely to follow that shape. And then that shape becomes more defined, and it becomes even more likely to follow that shape. That's how monopolies work. So this economic model is looking up a taxation system that destroys monopolies without destroying the economy. The way it was designed, or supposed to be designed, is that it's a grid of buyers and sellers, and initially it's stochastic, which means random, but it has memory. So, for example, if you give somebody $50, that person is more likely to receive $50 again because they're charging somebody something that costs $50. And if somebody has more money, they're more likely to get given money because they have less competition and more authority. That's an overgeneralization, obviously, but it's good enough for a simple model. So within the parameters of that system, where one person will eventually rise to dominance if we don't interfere, we're finding a way to interfere with it that doesn't lead to total stagnation nor to a monopoly. So we're basically trying to find a way to treat the economy like water and make sure that it stays with the waves in it. Because a monopoly is like someone, like, using a wave machine that's like perfectly tuned to create a wave that just kind of like sits in one place and everybody is just giving to that wave. And that is stagnation. That's like a harmonic form of stagnation because it requires constant energy input, but it's stable. We don't like that. We don't like stable in that sense. Because stable in that sense means everybody loses except one guy, or girl, or in between or beyond. The other problem is we don't want to just flatten the water, because if we just put like a lid on it and force it to be flat, then that defeats the point. Because the exchange of wealth is supposed to be the exchange of opportunity, and if we prevent people from exchanging opportunity, then we've defeated the purpose. We've created a does-nothing machine, and that's bad too. So that's all. This is just doing that, and I think it's fun to watch. I'm gonna go now. Bye.